proposed executive order. And also that a discussion or vote on whether there's public access to the meeting through adequate alternative means, which I believe we have achieved. So pleasure of the committee for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Mr. DeMonica makes a motion.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Bernardo. All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. I would like to state for the record, anyone just on audio, that all fiscal management subcommittee members, Mrs. Bernardo and Mr. DeMonica, as stated earlier, are present for this meeting. Next item on the agenda, approval of minutes for 6/11/2020 that has been posted in our drive. Pleasure of the committee.
Motion.
Approve.
Mr. DeMonica makes a motion, second by Mrs. Bernardo. All in favor?
Aye.
The
Aye.
ayes have it, 3-0. Next item on the agenda, payment of bills. We have no payment of bills, so we will move on. Just make a note for the minutes. Bills. Next item on the agenda, business office monthly report. Mr. Mitchell, did Mr. Prignano make it on?
No, he said he's trying. I guess he's having any difficulty. Mike, has he been
He's not on
trying
yet.
to?
Okay, we'll come back to the business office monthly report. Well, since we gotta wait for Mr. Prignano for the resolutions, Shauna, your next item on the agenda, Sedesco Food Service reports. How you been? Everyone staying healthy, Shauna?
Yeah, I've been really well. Thanks for asking. You know, it's definitely been a kind of a crazy year. As you guys know, we did get approval to run a program similar to summer feeding. So we were doing grab and go meals out of the Boys and Girls Club, which was successful. And I do have some information on that. Mike, should I share my screen, or would it be okay just to speak about the finances, or?
No, you can. You
If you could share your
should see a
screen,
little
that'd be
thing in the
great.
bottom.
Yeah, it says host disabled participant screen
No.
sharing. That's the window that's popping up. I'm just
You should have a green
share
screen share button now
Let's see.
in the center at the bottom.
Looks like it's going through.
Yeah.
There we go.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm just gonna move this little window. As you can see, in March, pre-COVID, we were trending well. We actually were on target to meeting our guarantee with Sedexo, which is almost $60,000. We've done a lot of pivoting of our labor and some different cost reductions in January and February to kind of trend back to where we needed to trend to meet that guarantee for the end of the year. So pre-COVID, you know, everything was going well. You can see this column has all of our information here. Remember in March, we kind of did a hybrid of the summer food service program. So you can see that this other income is directly related to, I think it was 10 or 12 operating days of those grab and go meals. So almost 7,500.
Gotcha.
So that's it for March. And for April, obviously we still had some product costs, some things, you know, kind of hit from the month before or the quarter before, different payments of bills and things like that. So again, we did have a gross operating cost of about 17,000. We did not have any reimbursable income for our regular programs, but in the other income category, we had almost $8,000 of the summer food service program, which is a reimbursable through the state. So those are the dollars from there. So our total revenues for that month were almost 8,000. Again, in May, we had some operating costs, some product that we had to purchase. Again, we had gone through at that point in May, all of our perishable items, and we did need to purchase a few items for our summer food service program. We also had some late payables that had hit in that month because of all the COVID issues. Things did get delayed with some of our vendors, so we had a high cost that month. We were trending well with our meals, so we did see an increase in May, almost $9,000 in reimbursable income from the summer food service program there. So doing well in that. June, we do close out in next week, so I will have some more solid numbers for our year-end totals. But as you can see, sorry, you guys might hear my screaming child in the background.
I can't hear anything, but that's fine.
Perfect.
No worries.
That's perfect, Ray. Thank you. So
Shauna, all right, go ahead. I'll let you finish up.
I can stop. I can pause for questions.
No, you're good. Keep going, please.
So our total revenues from obviously through May, not including June, was 1.1, and our total costs were 1.3. So again, it puts us just at a little bit over break even. We did incur some negative, gains or technically losses in April and May because of, some of the issues that we're running into with COVID. So it did, these months, April and May, unfortunately did eat into a little bit of the surplus that we were trending. So I'm hopeful to get some June numbers in here. It looks like we'll probably top out at about a positive. We also have a state match that came through, which is based on our meals from last year. So we have, we received that check already. I know Alex had received it in the, it's about $26,000 positive. So we will be seeing that hit in June. Another, great thing that we see every single year. So again, we'll probably, hopefully end up in the 30,000 positive for June, which is great in the situation that we're running right now. So
with you're saying, Shauna, when June gets updated, you'll end this year in a 30K positive number?
Yeah, and that's considerably because of the state match that we get for our meals from the state.
Okay.
And we'll probably bring in another, I'd say we only had a few operating days in June. Of course, the 9th was our last day. So we wouldn't see too much revenue in June, but we do have a few expenses. So I don't think June will probably be a wash, honestly. So about 30 grand with the state match and our income from the March, April, and May food service, the summer food service program.
Gotcha. All right, anything else to add? Yeah, any members have questions?
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Okay,
Hey,
Mr. DeMonica?
Shauna, is any of the March, April, and May labor reimbursable because of COVID?
Not to my knowledge. I have been talking to Alex a lot about the, FEMA funds or some different parameters, but I haven't heard any type of reimbursable through the state. He did actually, he said that he was asking that question to, the mayor the other day when I spoke to him.
Well, I know I saw a copy of an email or something that said that the profit that the school district would have received is not reimbursable, but the March, April, and May meals, you're telling me those labor costs are not reimbursable at all? I mean, seems like we shouldn't even bother to do it if that was the case.
But why would it be reimbursable? You're talking about through a FEMA?
Well, whatever federal agency that's out there, I mean, did we have to do March, April, and May? Did we have to do lunch?
I think it was the precedent of the state. Every other district was providing meals to the free and reduced students. We did have a small amount of meals compared to other districts, but it certainly was well received to the people that were taking the meals. But I don't know about any other labor. That would be an Alex question. I know that he was.
I think, yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Sean. What I was getting, the question I asked Linda Teal and Ray to ask the vendor GZA, who's handling this reimbursement of federal dollars for the whole town and we're participating in, was if our overall program lost money because, let's say, For example, half the kids were coming in each day. Shauna would only be serving half the meals, but yet the labor to serve half the kids is just about the same labor as it is to serve all the kids. You still need someone to cook. You still need people at the registers, all that type of stuff. So my question was, if we were lost money because revenue sales were down, would that be reimbursable? And it's not. It would not be. I think what Paul's asking, the normal reimbursements we get on meals we sell, those were reimbursable, and we're getting those. Is that
Right.
is that right, Paul?
It is, but we, looks like in the sheet Shauna put up, we spent an awful lot of labor to make those meals, for the COVID-19. So I'm just wondering if just those labor for those months would be reimbursable from the federal government, that's all. I don't hear
Mr.
anything.
Pragnato, anything on that?
I don't believe they would be, but I'll ask that specific question. I don't see
Okay.
why they would be, though.
All right, Mr. DeMonica, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Any other committee members or anyone from the public? Anything? Okay. Thank you, Shauna. Enjoy your summer if we don't speak.
Thanks. Take care.
Take care. Next item on the agenda is Sedesco Facilities Report. Mr. Pragnato, anything to add on that?
Not on facility. Well, I don't know if you want. I guess you want to discuss playgrounds tonight, or we can. You must have it agendaed separately. We can wait.
We do, yes. We have it agendaed separately.
Okay, so nothing
Okay,
else.
we'll come back to
No
that.
other.
Next item on the agenda, discussion and a vote to approve resolutions. We'll take the first one, SCPR 6, 2020-10, purchase 2 sets of 4-tier risers for the school. Mr. Pragnato.
Right, and this was a request that I received early in the school year, maybe somewhere last fall, October or November, where the chorus teacher was concerned that the risers that we have, I guess, don't have railings on them, and that some concern maybe of safety because of that. They hadn't been included in the high school budget, and I told them at the time we'd have to wait till later in the year, see how the year turned out. If I had money, I would try to do it. So I know things have changed. I know next year's budget's very difficult, but I wanted to, because I want to work with principals. When I tell them I'm going to try to do something, I want them to believe me, just like so that they trust me that, when I ask them not to spend money, they won't do it, because they can go. We obviously, because of the busing and COVID and all that, there's quite a bit of money left in the educational supplies at the high school.
Okay.
And we could buy this if the committee so chooses.
Thank you. Mr. Costa, this is what you're here for?
Yeah. So, and I believe it was in early November, it was brought to our attention that there was a request from Ms. Santo to start looking at increased risers. And one of the things that it is we have risers right now. They're 3-tier risers. They hold approximately 25 to 30 students. And we currently, even going into next year, we have enrolled in that program alone 68 kids. So we're looking for an increased size in the risers. But if I could just share my screen, I do have a picture, because at the time I was asked to really look at the risers. And what we did is we put, can everyone see that picture?
Not yet. I think it's coming on now.
Yep.
Oh,
We
yes.
got it.
Okay.
So this is a 3-tier riser. And one of the things that's happened is these have been the only risers that I have known of since I've been at Cumberland High School. This is only clef. You're only looking at clef. This is not the full chorus standing on our current risers. And if you look at to the right of the picture, the kid with the red sneakers, if you look in between his sneakers, you'll see the bar bend. These risers are so they're pretty old and they're not even connecting anymore. So they're loose apart. So I just wanted to show you that picture so
I'm
people
glad.
could kind of ingrain that. So we could stop sharing here. But so yeah, so there is definitely, for me anyway, there's a need based on enrollment of that program. As you all know, our program specifically, our band and our chorus have just, I mean, over the last 5, 6, 9 years, it's each year there's more and more kids. We are now, I'll be honest, we're now starting to see a flatlining of it, but we're still talking about a band of over 100 kids in a chorus that's exceeding 60 students right now. And so with that level of participation, and I also, it would be unjust for me not to mention the accolades that Cumberland High School's chorus has gotten statewide and even regionally when they compete in these things. And so I think that this is something that would really help to kind of push this program forward. Is it to be on a be all end all of push this program forward? No, we still have great singers with or without the rises, but it does add that element of professionalism when we are singing in front of an audience.
Thank you, Mr. Costa. Mrs. Bernardo?
And I just want to add too, is that with the condition of those risers and the lack of railings and the fact that they don't actually connect properly, it is a huge safety issue for these kids. There was an incident in the fall where the risers did not stay together properly, and some of the kids did fall off of them. They weren't hurt. Nobody was hurt because we would have heard about it. You know, if everybody was completely fine, but just knowing that there's a chance that if someone steps back a little bit, they could fall off, or if someone in front for some reason falls back. Like I just, the thought of, student injuries for the sake of that, I think that would be something that's important for us to try to avoid, at all
Yeah.
costs. So, in
And just
addition to everything that Mr. Costa had said.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and just to amplify what Ms. Bernardo has just said, if we do go to a 4-tier riser, I would not feel in any way going to a 4-tier riser with the backing on it. We would definitely need, like the 3-tier riser we currently have doesn't have the backing on it. We would definitely want to order something with the backing.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Costa. So, Mr. Prignano, this resolution is not to exceed $9,238. The high school rises
Right,
currently.
we had prices from the recommended vendor, and also we were able to find one other company that provided this type of product and school specialty, and they were 11,600. So if we're going to move forward, we would recommend we go with a little bit, obviously.
Okay. Pleasure of the committee.
Make a motion, we approve.
Mr. Demonica makes a motion to approve SCPR 6/2020-10 to not exceed $9,238. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second by Mrs. Bernardo. All in favor?
I,
Against? The ayes have it, 3-0. Thank you. Thank you for that screen share too, Mr. Costa, in explaining this. Next item on the agenda, discussion and vote to approve resolution SCPR 6/2020-11, which is the purchase of the camera system to stream high school sporting events, not to exceed $7,000 exactly. Mr. Prignano, did you want to speak about this briefly?
Right, and I have Eric, the athletic director, here with us tonight too to fill in some details. But what this basically is this would allow us for, I guess, about nine of our various sports to stream games to people who it would involve, especially if we get in a situation this year with their sports, but people, they keep crowds down and people out from their home. There's the only cost to the district would be the initial setup. The fees going forward are paid for those who decide they want to participate and be able to watch the various teams, during the various seasons. They would pay a fee. That's how the company makes their money. That people, mostly parents, I guess, probably are paying to watch the various games. So Eric and I have been working on this, and he's gone to a number of the booster clubs and he's put together at least 8 of the 9, Eric, is that correct?
Correct.
That have offered to put $500 a piece in.
Correct.
So
Yep.
that would give us, that
4,000.
would give us a big chunk of the money. And then there's one other club I think he's waiting to hear from. So basically, we think we would be able to do this for about $1,500, anywhere from $500 to $2,500. We think 7,000 is the absolute high end cost, and we think it could be more
So,
like
Mr. Vignano, you're
$5,000. So we
breaking
may
up a
be
little
able to
bit.
do this. Yeah, I can't even stop my video for whatever
Okay,
reason.
hold
or
on a
not,
second
but-
though. Is somehow, you were breaking up, maybe somebody else can explain. This isn't a pay to play type of situation, is it? Or it's,
No,
No, so basically it's just a camera system. We would have one installed at Tucker Field and inside the Wellness Center. So we just pay the initial setup fee, and then it would provide parents the opportunity to subscribe and be able to watch the games if we were in an instance where we did not have fans come fall or winter.
and this is a normal, schools are doing this?
Yeah, I would say probably about half the schools in the state are doing this right now.
And this is not a pay to play? It sounds like a pay to play to me.
It's not to play. It's just they'd have to pay to be able to
Oh.
view the games. So,
Mr. Costa?
Yeah, so you could actually, right now, the North Smithfield Ice Rink, you can pay for the same type of subscription. And then, so if you're away from the rink,
Okay.
you can watch games there. So basically, you're paying for a subscription to be able to watch the events that are happening. The kids are still part of the team. And if outside of social distancing, people can go to the game. But what this is like, so grandma who lives in Connecticut somewhere can pay for a
Okay.
subscription and watch the game.
I got you. Mr. Mitchell?
Yeah, and rather than pay at the gate, you're essentially paying, to watch it in the comfort of your home.
And I have one more question. Do we know ballpark, how much it costs?
so I believe the monthly subscription fee ranges from $10 to $13, or they can buy an annual fee, which I believe starts at $50. It's between $50 and $60.
Okay, thank you. Pleasure of the committee?
Mr. Chair, I got a
Mr.
question.
DeMonica? Go ahead.
So the total cost, including the money from the boosters, is it 7,000 or is it like 15,000?
So it's 7,000.
7,000 in total.
Yep.
And is it an annual fee or is it one-time fee? That's it.
Yep, one-time fee. Yeah. So the way the company makes their money is by the subscriptions.
Okay. And how long is the contract?
There's no contract. It's just the one-time setup fee, and then from there on out, I guess for eternity we would have this as long as we wanted to utilize it.
Okay, so my only suggestion, Mr. Chair, is if we have to sign anything, the copy come to the school committee just so that we have it in file.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. DeMonica.
I'll
Mrs.
make a mo-
Bernardo?
Yeah, I would I kind of following along what Paul is saying. So I understand that it's subscription based. So if for some strange reason that nobody subscribed, that's not a big deal. That doesn't have any effect because we've purchased what we've purchased. And then even if no one subscribed to watch, it's fine. There's no negative to that. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Make sure. Yep, thanks.
Mr. Collins?
All right, thank you. Who's responsible for videotaping and streaming it? Is it somebody in-house? Do we have to hire somebody, or is it the service provider personnel?
So it's actually a mounted camera that it actually pans and zooms by itself. So there's nobody actually operating the camera. The technology is actually really amazing. So it has multiple cameras built into this device, and it will zoom and pan. And then what we have the option to do is to plug in and provide, commentary and audio. So my intention would be to work with a few student volunteers to provide that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, pleasure of the committee.
Motion to approve, subject
Mr.
to,
DeMonica makes a motion to approve SCPR 6 2020-11, not to exceed $7,000. And then also if there is a signature, that'd be forward to the committee. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Bernardo. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it, 3-0. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Next item on the agenda, moving along. Discussion and a vote to approve price quotes for repair and replacement parts for each playground at the 5 elementary schools. Mr. Mitchell, did you want to take this one?
I know that Alex has more detail, but we did
Okay.
get prices. We did get prices for all of the elementary school playgrounds, and the costs of repairing and or replacing some of the playground equipment was pretty extensive. So, we're going to have to decide how we want to proceed on that. Alex has been working with Will. Will is the person who has coordinated getting the estimate. So Alex, can you provide a little more detail about this?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, in preparation for this today, Will and I took a ride to Ashton and Community, where most of the dollar amounts for repairing the playgrounds were at those 2 locations. And and first of all, this would have to all go out to bid. This was just some vendor who came in and gave us prices. This would, have to be competitively bid, but we looked at a lot of the stuff, and some of the things they did, for example, if we didn't have a creative recreation widget holding a swing up, they wrote that, gee, they included those type of things in the prices, when the piece that we're using, that the swing is, being supported by, is absolutely fine and safe. It's just not theirs. And there was a lot of that type of stuff. I sent Paul, I think we were talking this one, I sent you some pictures. A lot of it is, I would, because a picture's worth 1,000 words, I would welcome anyone from the school committee who would like to meet at Community or Ashton, stuff like that. We could show you some of the things you're talking about. I think if you see some of the stuff you're talking about, there are a couple of things that I think absolutely need to be repaired. There's a broken bridge at Ashton that's all boarded. We've got boards blocking it so no one can get on it, and that's absolutely should be repaired. But many of the things I just didn't see where we would need to replace these things at this time. And so I would be happy to meet anyone out there so that they would have a real sense of what we're talking about here.
So Mr. Prignano, I didn't see anything in our drive for this unless I missed it.
No, well, I don't know.
It's in,
I just was sent an
It is in
email
the
with
drive?
prices. For example, yeah, there was like $17,000 at Ashton. There was like $30,000 at Community. And then most of the other schools were in that $3,000 range, a piece of
Okay, I
equipment here and there.
apologize.
So it was about 55, 60,000 all in, but most of it being at, 40 something thousand of it being at 2 of the schools. So,
Okay.
I
Pleasure
really
of the committee.
I think it would be worth going to look at before we even move this any further.
So you suggest that we table for now?
Absolutely. This
Okay.
would have to be put out to bid. You could never award this to these people.
Gotcha. Okay. Pleasure of the committee. Motion to table?
Motion to table.
Mr. DeMonica makes a motion to table.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Bernardo. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, 3-0. So, Mr. Prignano, we'll speak before the next fiscal management, before this goes forward. We'll talk and then we'll present something to the full committee.
I know Mark Fiorillo, is always big on the playground safety and stuff. I would love to, I was going to text.
Mr. Fiorillo is on this call.
Right.
Okay.
I'd welcome meeting Mark, and, he's kind of like really stays on top of that. I think he would be a good person for the committee to take a look at it, if not everyone wanted to go.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Fiorillo.
Yeah, Alex, I'll definitely walk around the playgrounds with you. I had one question about the Ashton. Did the numbers include both the preschool playground and the other playground?
No, it's nothing. The preschool playground's off separate, down the side of the building. I was noticing how the grass was really high under it.
So
today.
none of the repairs are for the preschool playground?
Nope, it was just the regular Ashton playground. And the
Why is
biggest
that?
piece was this, well, I think that they didn't, I don't know why they didn't take, maybe that's not their equipment. This is a particular company.
Which company did you bring in?
The company that came in to assess stuff was Creative Recreation.
Okay, I know a lot of the playground that we use is Game Time. Is that correct, Mrs. Bernardo?
I think
Yeah.
Will's on the call. Will may know a little bit more about who we use,
Okay.
but
That this might be
I
a
think
good
if we could
opportunity.
meet, I'd like to go, show you just what, some of the things they consider they'd replace. There might be a stair where there's some, some rust forming where it was used to be painted, and they're saying, replace that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Yeah, I've seen the repair quotes before, and some of them are just ridiculous. So,
All right.
yeah, but I would definitely walk around. We'll walk around with you.
Why don't you pick a day next week, Mark,
Okay,
and just call me
Okay.
or text me.
sounds good.
Thank you. Moving along, next item on the agenda, CHS activity reports, which have been filed that are in our drive. Next item on the agenda, public comment. Anyone from the public would like to speak?
Nobody here
Hearing
with their
none, we'll
hands
move
up.
on.
I don't know, we didn't really do business manager report. If you want,
Oh, yes, you know what, Mr. Prignano, we passed it. Do you want to,
I don't
business
have a formal
office?
report, but I did learn a little bit on a call today with, about the state aid situation, if you want.
Okay, can you give us a brief
wanted to hear
update?
it.
We're running a little late for our next meeting.
Well.
Go ahead.
You want, all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
What, basically, there's two pots of money, with the COVID money. There was the ESSA money, and that was the one that was going to give us 83% of our Title I allocation of $530,000. That money they're going to take, that amount of money is going to come out of our June state aid. So we now know the amount that they're going to reduce us this year. It's $530,000 in odd amount, in a few bucks. And they're going to replace it with that ESSA money. That ESSA money was the money we were going to use for Chromebooks. So now that's going to come in and replace our state aid. Also, because that is Title II money, is Title I money, we have to share that now with the private schools. So we're actually going to have about a $30,000 somewhere in there. I think that's about the amount we give to, the Mercy Mounts and them of the world. We're going to have a $30,000 reduction now in our general fund because that money is being used to replace state aid. So that will cause a worsening in our general fund. Then there's the second pot of money that they just recently decided they would do. It's called Covert Relief Fund, and there's $50 million in that, not the 41 million that was in ESSA. And that's going to be based on the same Title I allocation. So 83% of 50 million instead of 83% of 41 million, and it's going to give us a bigger number of 636. But I believe they're going to use that money also to replace state aid next year. So we're not getting any more money. They're just using COVID money to replace state aid. Kind of what they did in 2008 when we had the ARA money and they pulled state aid from the districts, and they allowed us to, we used ARA money to balance budgets. Both of these will require, requests through RIDE for approval. Where we were using, we might have to get a little creative now because we were going to use our ESSA money for technology. The governor is hell-bent on a full opening, and she wants to see things like that money spent on busing and cleaning and all those type of things. So we're going to have to shift gears a little bit to find out how we get our Chromebooks and our cleaning and that type of stuff. And we'll start, I'll start thinking about that. I just learned about this. I'll start thinking about it tonight. But that's kind of what's happening. We're going to lose 636 next year and 530 this year, and it's being replaced with money that has not so much strings attached, but require a lot of jumping through hoops with the federal government to get the money.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Questions from the committee?
Alex, we're originally going to lose 845. Now it's down to 636. Is that correct?
No, I believe the 636 is on top of the allocations that were already in place.
Okay.
So they're gonna, if we would, let's say last year we got 20,845,000, and this year we were getting 20 million even. We already lost the 845. They're now taking that 20 million and taking 636 away and replacing it with COVID money.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any further
That's all
questions?
I have, Mr. Chair.
Say it again, Mr. Brignano?
That's all I have.
That's fine. Thank you. Any further questions? Okay. Next item on the agenda is to adjourn. Pleasure of the committee.
Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Demonica makes a motion to adjourn at 6:06. Do I have a second? Second by Mrs. Bernardo.
We do. I just have one question before we leave, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
For the athletic director, have we heard anything from the state in regards to sports restarting again in the fall? Have we heard anything yet?
So, I hear something different every day. As of now, the plan is we're going full tilt. Everything's back as going to be, normal. Personally, I don't know if that's going to happen. I think we might be looking more at a situation where some of the lesser risk or lower contact sports like cross country and tennis are more likely to move forward, and something like football and soccer might be held back. So there's talks about moving some of the sports like that to the spring, or canceling the seasons altogether.
All right, thank you. I'm all set. Yeah.
I didn't take the final vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, 3-0. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. See you on exec.
Thanks,
Have a good night.
guys. Thank you,
Mr. Costa, have a
Adolfo.
good summer if I don't talk to you.
Thanks, guys.